Hey guys, I just did this whole video and then realized I didn't do an intro at all. My name is Leslie and I own and operate Perfect Chaos Photography in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I have a small studio and while I'm by no means perfect, I have worked really hard to get to where I'm at and I like to think that I'm at least a little bit skilled. This is me. I'm basically just an awkward human being, but I like to think I'm all right. So yeah, that's it. Okay. So I've been trying to make these videos for a little while now, and had some issues with syncing up a video of myself in the corner, which I don't even know why I thought I would do that. So you guys are just getting a voiceover. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is how to add depth and drama in a very, very simple way into a photo. So this is a photo I took of a friend of mine the other day. We wandered around and did a session. So first of all, it's shot at f2.8, 1/640th second, ISO 100, and this is the 70-200 G2 by Tamron. Absolutely love that lens. So this is my straight out of camera. Obviously it's nothing spectacular, so I'm just going to make a few little adjustments here. Nothing too extraordinary. Looks pretty good. We're going to go ahead, we're going to open up the image. Okay. All right. So, typically the first thing that I do is I run portraiture for skin smoothing, but I'm going to skip that today and just show you this Dodge&Burn technique. Now, I can't take full credit for this technique. It actually is the first thing that they taught us in school in our Photoshop class. So, I mean, I'm by no means a substitute for a formal education. I just really like to share the techniques that I've learned and what works for me, because I know how absolutely daunting Photoshop can be. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to make a new layer. We're going to take this layer, layer 1. If you're the organized type, you can rename it. I am not the organized type, so I don't normally rename it. And we can go ahead and we can fill it. We're going to fill it with 50% gray. So the way that layers work in Photoshop is it starts from the bottom and then everything goes on top. I'm doing all these hand motions you can't see since I did away with the little video of me in the corner. But things go on top, and basically you have to determine how these layers on top interact with the layers underneath them. So your little panel right here is what's called blending modes. So this is going to determine how it interacts with the layers underneath it. So we're going to put this on soft light. You can play with it. You can do whatever you want. I normally use soft light. And so then here we have it now. It looks like it's gone. It's not. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our brush, which is your B shortcut on your keyboard, or you can click it over here. I'm going to get a nice big soft brush, and we're going to take these here, and we want them black and white. So all you're going to do is press D for default on the keyboard, and then anything that you paint black is going to darken, and anything that you paint white is going to lighten. Now there's two ways to do this. I'm going to show you this way first, and then I'm going to show you the other way. So typically, the eye goes to the brightest part of the image. So we want our subject to be the brightest part of the image because that's where we want people to look. Now obviously, you know, learn the rules and then break them. But typically, this is what we're going to do. Let's do this super quick. The cool part about using a nice big soft brush is you don't have to like be exact. You don't have to get like right in here, you know. You can if you want, but you don't have to. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my white brush. I'm going to lighten up this shadow on her dress. And I'm going to lighten up her face. I'm going to lighten up her hair just a teeny bit. I'm going to put a little bit of lightening on her arm here. A little bit more down here in the dress. Now, obviously, this looks like dog shit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the opacity and we're going to bring it down. And it's going to be wherever you like it. And it's going to start to look a little bit better, right? Then we can take our brush and fix what we like. Yada yada. If we're like, oh, that's not dark and light enough, I don't like it, we can like duplicate the layer, you know? So I kind of like this at, say, 35% opacity. Just gives that tiny bit of a kick. So that's the first way to do it. I don't like that way. It's the easiest, it's the most straightforward. The way that I like to do it, pick a new layer again. I'm not going to rename this one because, like I said, I am not an organized human being. We're going to fill it 50% gray, change our blend mode to soft light. So this time, what I'm going to do is instead of changing the opacity of the layer, I'm going to change the opacity of my brush. So that menu is up here at the top, or you can press the numbers on your keyboard. So I'm going to go 30%, okay? I'm going to paint that in just a tiny bit here, tiny bit here, tiny bit here, here, a little bit on her arm, a little bit on her face. I'm going to undo that because I don't like how that looks. And then I'm going to switch to my black brush. I'm going to go at 40%. I'm just going to darken this up by 40%. So you can see that this technique gives you a lot more customization because let's say this corner up here, I do like it like that. But I can build up the darkness, whereas the other way you kind of have to do like another layer if you want it darker or lighter or anything like that. I'm going to put a little bit of extra darkening along the edges just to kind of burn in a bit of a vignette there. I'm going to bring this in at 20%. So I pressed the 2 on my keyboard, so it changed it at the top to 20%. And just get a tiny bit in here. These areas. Okay. So then this is what we went to. Do a tiny bit more on her face here. Oops. So it figures I finally sit down to do this and I get a phone call. They could wait. So we just do a little bit there. You know. And look at there. You know, I think I'm actually going to go in a little bit here. I'm just going to brighten up around her eyes. Now, I have a routine that I do for eyes, but I'm going to go 10%. Just going to brighten that up. I'm going to do another pass on it. So 20%, 30%, 20%, 30%. I think that looks pretty good. All right. So that is very simple. It's one layer, and in my opinion, it's added a ton of depth and drama into this photo. Whereas before, it was a little bit flat, and now it's just kind of really pops. I guess they don't want to wait. All right. So now I'm going to show you another technique, just on top of this, to add a little bit more of the drama in. So we see these beautiful, beautiful green leaves here. I shot through the bush to kind of frame her a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a color balance layer. Okay? We're going to take this, and we're going to turn up our green on the midtones. I'm going to turn up our greens on the shadow. Okay? And then, so this white part here is a layer mask. So the layer mask right now is white, which means we're showing the layer. And anything we paint black, it's going to basically make a hole in the layer so that we're seeing right through to the bottom layer, the layer below it. Now, I could go on, I could paint her out black, take the green off of where I want to get it, but I kind of like to see it while I go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invert this by going Command I. I'm on a Mac, so it may vary. And then I'm going to take my brush, my white brush this time, because we've inverted it to black. So now we only want to paint where we want to see. So right now this layer is invisible, and we're going to paint white on it where we want this layer to show up. Oh, and we're still at 10%, so I'm going to bump that all the way up to 100. We're just going to kind of play around here. I'm going to add it here. Now, there isn't actually any green up here, but I'm going to add it in anyway. So now I'm kind of not liking how that green looks. So then I'm going to drop the opacity of this layer. So it's just like 29%. So it's just the tiniest little bit of a green kick. And obviously this part's all up to personal taste. So, you can do your own thing, and that's pretty much it. Now just to recap, this is where we started at. We did our Dodge&Burn layer, which just made the photo pop completely. And then we did this tiny bit of color layer just to add a little bit more green into it. Now, just a little quick note here. I have a ton of actions up here. But if you wanted to make your own Dodge&Burn action, all you're going to do is you're going to hit New Action. We're going to name it, if I can spell, Dodge&Burn. We're going to put it in a set. You can make your own set over there. It's fine. Mine are just kind of all over the place. You're going to click Record. So now it's recording everything you do. So then we're going to go New Layer, Edit, Fill, 50% gray, OK. Change the blend mode to soft white, and then stop. And then now, all you have to do is click Dodge&Burn, click play, and your layer's already up. And you can brush away. So yeah, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I try to be straightforward, but I know that I can ramble a little bit. So I think the next video I'm going to do is about how to remove color casts. So stay tuned for that if this ever actually goes up. Thanks, guys.